So I think what I want to do is explain my entire health journey from where I started and where I am now. Wow, there's a lot there. So growing up, I always had a lot of health problems. Got sick all the time. I had a lot of digestive issues. It felt like, especially after eating, like cereal in the morning, I would feel kind of nauseous. But I didn't think anything was wrong because I didn't know. I thought, oh, maybe this is just how I'm supposed to feel, and I didn't really have proper guidance from anyone else, especially as a young kid, to know like how I'm supposed to feel. And I feel like a lot of my health issues, whenever I try to bring them up with my parents, they kind of dismissed them and told me to just kind of like tough it out. So that's a whole thing. I got sick like all the time, dude. Every winter, colds, always sneezing. My eyes were always so dry. I had a lot of acne as a kid, especially in middle school, high school. Tons of acne, dude. Even in college a little bit. Always struggled with having energy and feeling energized and being able to focus and have mental clarity. When I was younger, I was always kind of like spaced out, and I was diagnosed with like ADHD as a kid, and I was put on Adderall. Did that for several years, unfortunately. Didn't really know too much about the pharmaceutical healthcare industry as a youngin, as I compared to now. So, I struggle with energy, brain fog, fatigue, and I think it just got like worse and worse and worse. And I would go to school every day, just not feeling that great. But I thought it was just like who I was. I thought I just had to like tough it out. I didn't know that there was anything that was wrong with me, unfortunately. So eventually, it's about 2017, I'm 19 years old, and I had a traumatic experience that I'll probably go into another time. And I believe what happened was it triggered something in my body that caused a whole bunch of other downstream things to manifest: anxiety, depression, dissociation, panic attacks, stress intolerance, poor exercise recovery. My food intolerances got even worse. My gut issues got worse. My fatigue got much, much worse. And what happened was, like, after that, I feel like I haven't really been the same since then, until now. Doing much better now. But it took me a long time to get to where I'm at now. It's, almost 5 years later. So the traumatic episode, experience, whatever. All of the issues that I was having before got worse. Like I said, gut issues, fatigue. And that's basically what sparked my healing journey on to because after that I was a changed person, you know. um, Terribly anxious all the time, very depressed. The fatigue was unbearable. You know, my gut was destroyed, man. Like I would get these, like stomach ulcers in the side of my gut. I didn't know they were like, I wouldn't like diagnosed as stomach ulcers, but there was very much something there that was like a burning, gnawing pain. It was terrible, and I lived like this for a long time. So yeah, that's kind of what started my whole healing journey on spirituality, as well as diet and supplementation and nutrition. And it's ultimately what I've become very passionate about. So here we are. So yeah, about a year in after the traumatic experience, or maybe 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years. I started really, you know, feeling bad because I was living in Myrtle Beach at the time. I was working as a lifeguard, and also we had to like set up chairs and things. It was very like physically demanding job, as well as the fact that I worked like every single day, like without a day off, like almost 30 days in a row, like a whole month straight, because that's kind of like the culture there. And that's what people did in the summer. Just try and make as much money as possible. And I just started feeling very, very, very fatigued. And I noticed like nobody else was really feeling this way, despite the fact that like everyone else was going out at night, you know, drinking, partying, and then waking up the next morning for work and just feeling great and like ready to go. And like I was, you know, taking like perfect care of myself, I thought. You know, thought I was eating well, I was exercising, I was sleeping good, but still nothing was like working for me. I still felt absolutely horrible. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with me, dude? What is wrong with me? You know? I was very frustrated, I was very upset. It's terrible fatigue, anxiety, you know, panic attacks, just like miserable. Just this miserable being, dude. And I started researching that summer. It was like 2019, because I was noticing like after I would eat lunch specifically, like at my lifeguard stand or whatever, I would feel so much worse. And at this time I was eating a lot of like cheese and crackers and you know, like peanut butter sandwiches. You know, I was eating like yogurt, like smoothies a lot. I'm sure there's a whole host of other things that were irritating. But yeah, I would feel absolutely horrendous. I would almost fall asleep on the job on the lifeguard stand because I was so fucking exhausted after eating lunch, and it became a pattern. So I started researching, why am I so tired after eating? Why do I feel like crap all the time? You know, yada 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 yada, whatever. And the first thing I saw was gluten. Gluten and dairy were like common food triggers for people. So I removed those, and even just a few days after, dude, I felt like a fucking brand new person. You know, tremendous improvement just from those two. And so I thought, wow, you know, there's a lot of potential here. I still wasn't 100%, I don't think, but it was definitely a markable improvement. It was noticeable, you know. Less fatigue, I was less depressed, less anxious, you know, I just felt more like consistent, more stable. But it wasn't the end all be all. It wasn't the end all be all for sure. Shortly after that, in 2019 in the winter, I moved to Colorado, and I moved there, still kind of the same symptoms, like fatigue, not as much energy as other people. I had terrible gut issues, bro. Like I had terrible, insane gas, like bloating. The fatigue was there, the anxiety was there. I felt very cold all the time. All these like imbalances, and started trying more things, removing things, and eventually I ended up when the pandemic started in 2020. I was researching, and I saw that the carnivore diet was kind of like a thing, and that it was working for a lot of people. So I tried that out, and it worked absolutely tremendously in the beginning. And I was like, wow, this is changing my life. I didn't know this was possible to like feel this good. So I did that for several months, and then towards the end of 2020, I moved to San Diego, where I'm at now, and I caught COVID. And COVID absolutely, it destroyed me, dude. It seemed like it took all of the issues that I had, because despite all the efforts I made, with the carnivore diet, with changing my lifestyle, with improving my sleep, adding supplements, yada yada yada, all these things, that I still wasn't like back to normal. I still wasn't like my normal self. And when I experienced COVID for the first time, it destroyed me, bro. Like, it took all those symptoms I had and made them like 10 times worse. The gut issues, the fatigue, the brain fog, the anxiety, the panic attacks, going anywhere in public, like not even able to like go for a walk without feeling just intense pressure on my chest, man, like intense anxiety. And I was like, wow, something is fucked up here. I thought I was gonna be like screwed forever, not able to like exercise. I couldn't exercise for like almost a year, bro. 8 months, 6 months, something like that. Couldn't exercise, couldn't jog for more than 5 minutes after running like 30 miles a week. Couldn't jog 5 minutes, bro, without like chest pains, shortness of breath, etc. Tremendous fatigue. If I exercise, if I push myself too hard, I would crash. I would feel horrible for like days, bro. The fatigue would increase, the brain fog would increase, all these things would compound. And over the past couple of years, I really have become like a shell of myself. I've like forgotten what it means to be like a person, and to like have emotions and connections and all these things. It's really like sucked the life out of me. And I mean, the long COVID journey has been a journey of ups and downs for sure. It's gotten better, but just like looking back at the person I was before COVID and before like the traumatic experience, it was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is going on, And it seems like all the COVID and the traumatic experience were like linked together. They're very similar, and they potentiated each other. Like the COVID potentiated the symptoms I had that were triggered by the traumatic experience. So it's like, okay, what the fuck? I'm not really feeling emotions. I'm not connected to people. I have no energy, brain fog, whatever. So I started researching, researching. Okay, what's going on? Like, something needs to be fixed in the body here. So I came across, a lot of stuff on Reddit, like methylation. Got crazy into methylation, bro. And there's a lot of potential there, but it's not the end all be all. There's other pathways in the body, and eventually I got led to the nitric oxide cycle. Nitric oxide and BH4. So, diagram here. So nitric oxide, the whole cycle is absolutely like fundamental to your entire body and your well-being. Okay. You can't express how important this is to function properly. And if it malfunctions, then like pretty much everything else in your body like doesn't work, and you can get a lot of diseases, you can get mental health issues. Yeah, it's insane. So I believe what happened was, with the traumatic experience, it triggered something that disrupted the nitric oxide BH4 cycle. And if that cycle gets disrupted, it becomes almost impossible to get it back working without proper supplementation to get it like actually functioning properly. Otherwise, it's just a vicious cycle that potentiates itself. It's a lot to explain, but if it's malfunctioning, it won't fix itself unless something is added, So it comes down to in like the, I don't know if you can see that. That's fucking backwards. The nitric oxide cycle is also completely interconnected with the neurotransmitter production. So BH4 is responsible for converting amino acids like tryptophan and tyrosine and arginine into dopamine and serotonin and citrulline. So if your nitric oxide cycle is malfunctioning, then you don't have any BH4, and if you don't have any BH4, you can't convert these amino acids from protein into neurotransmitters, leading to a whole host of psychological issues, anxiety, depression. This is the theory, at least. And the theory is if you get the cycle working again, then all these issues will be ameliorated. So there's actually a paper that I'm going to link in the description that explains all of this, and to like get the cycle back working. And so you need vitamin C, methylfolate, hydroxycommodin B12, and niacin are absolutely massive to restoring the function of this cycle. And I believe, I've been doing it the past couple days, and I believe there's like some serious potential here, like serious potential for healing diseases. And I got to give credit to Dr. Dimitri Katz. He kind of like discovered niacin and its responsibility for healing long COVID, as well as like other diseases like Parkinson's and all these other things. Like people are having like reporting crazy healing experiences from niacin. And wow, there's a lot to go into for like this whole cycle thing, but I do believe there's a lot of potential. I'm super excited for the future, and I'm gonna keep updating with videos about the healing journey and where I'm at with like my emotions, my mental health, my physical health. After supplementing with vitamin C, niacin, folate, and B12 for the upcoming future. So yeah, thanks for listening. That's my journey.